I'm glad that I am in a constant contact with the ministers before, even more on online regime due to the attacks on the energy infrastructure. But today we have managed to stabilize the system, so there is no restriction of supply in Ukraine already this third week. And it gives me a possibility to come in person, to see my colleagues and friends. And of course the message, first of all, I want to thank everyone for support which is provided to us, and that is not only the support as the money, that is support by equipment, by all necessary high voltage equipment and all kind of equipment which we received from our friends. It gives us a possibility to withstand against this really, terrorist attacks against the energy infrastructure. And another issue which is very important, of course, that is how we would work together in the future against Russia and against what they did, in the energy sector. Of course, that is the issue of sanctions. That is the issue of our joint actions against the Russian influence in the energy market.
Will you be bringing a message today about Russian LNG, which is still coming to the EU in quite large quantities?
Of course, it's very important, because, of course, we're grateful to this 10 package of sanctions, but, of course, we want more. And we ask, very important is several issues from our point of view. Is first of all, that everyone should understand that that's forever. Because sometimes I've heard messages that the war is the war, it's some temporary issues, so Russia, so we need to do something right now, and then we would come back to Russia. I think that's very important to understand that that is forever, and that is should be our answer to Russian aggression. And of course, another issue is not to give them possibility to escape from sanctions. And we see that they already found some ways to do this. And of course, that is very important issue. And the third point, of course, the sanction on nuclear. That is very important. I think that is probably the only let's say, expert in energy sector which is not still influenced by sanctions. And after what they did with nuclear, generally with nuclear safety and security, so they destroy everything the world achieved. And we need to answer.
On renewables, what role should renewables play in Ukraine after the war ends? And do you have any specific targets you can tell us about with regards to renewables and how much money you might use?
Yeah, in fact, we, during these attacks on the energy infrastructure, and I can just recall you that from the 10th of October, we are living on everyday attack. Today night, it was another attack by drones, Iranian drones. So an everyday attack, so that's massive attacks by missiles, which they use from 50 to 100 at once. We call it massive attacks, but between these massive attacks, we are living on everyday attacks from the 10th of October. So you could imagine that more than 4 months, energy system under everyday attacks, drones, artillery, everything they could use. And of course, what we see that very important, the issue of decentralization of generation. And renewables is one of the best solutions. So we see the mix, and that was already in the message of the President to the Parliament, that we see the future mix of Ukrainian energy system is half production of nuclear and half renewables. We had before a strategy to have 25% of renewables by 2030, but now we already rethink this time schedule, so we want to speed up this. We need to speed up this from the point of view of military threats. Even when you decentralize the renewables around the country, you feel more safe. That is, of course, what we needed, and of course that is our green transition. That's what we need today. I must say that the renewables, it's not only about the ecology and green transition for us, and we see this, that this is a question of national security.
How does it look, the current status of the Ukrainian grid for power? How does it look now, and is there a deficit, and how do you manage this?
At this time, there is no deficit. So I mentioned that it's already the set week. We are without deficit of production. So the production of electricity covered the level of consumption. So there is some restriction due to some lines, but usually we are talking about the regions with near the battle line. So where is the active front there, and of course there is some destruction, but we feel that we already withstand this winter. So because we managed to maintain the system during this, I don't know, unprecedented attacks on the energy infrastructure. I don't even know the example how to compare which country faced the challenge. And what is important now that we see that we already, the level of generation covers the consumption, so it gives us more confidence about the future.
Has there been any promises of future cooperation with the European Union in terms of reconstruction of the grid or, renovating the system after the war ends?
Yeah, of course, and we would discuss this today, and so of course that is the issue which I am in constant contact really with all my colleagues, friends from EU. We have a high advisory council to the ministry, which consists of all ministers of all EU, United States, UK, and we discuss all the issues together, and that is one of the most important points. So I think that we show that we could maintain the system even under this unprecedented attacks. Thank you. Sorry.
Last summer, you agreed on the integration of the integrated electricity market. How would you describe this process? Has it been unfolding as you expected, or are there any bumps on the road on that?
No, we have the roadmap how to integrate the markets. What we want, I would be very happy to restart export again of Ukrainian electricity. But before this massive attacks, even during the war, we exported electricity to Europe, and I think that was also one of the reasons why Russians target the Ukrainian energy system. Not only because they want blackout inside the country, but because they understand that when we're selling electricity to Europe, so we decrease the dependence on Russian gas and oil, and that is obvious for European countries. And unfortunately, from the 11th of October, next day after first massive attack, we should stop the export. But I hope that we already stabilize the system, and when we see that we had quite, let's say, profits in the system, we could restart the export. That would be a very great solution for us.
Yeah, and now we are not importing anything?
Very small amounts. So it's something around like 30 megawatts, which is almost nothing.
So it's not a big...
Yeah, there is no need to import, because you could see the difference in price. So if the Ukrainian production could give you a possibility to buy electricity inside, so you don't need to pay more for European electricity. But the good thing for us is, of course, to export. Thank you very much.